When it comes to the Book of the Dead, no other gods come even close to the importance of Osiris and Re. Having a firm understanding of the mythology surrounding these gods is essential for any serious study of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Let's first start with the mythology around Osiris. First off, Osiris is king of the underworld and the most pivotal character in the Book of the Dead. No other god appears as often or takes as many forms as he does. There are literally hundreds of direct references to Osiris in the Book of the Dead, and almost as many indirect references to him as well.
Now remember this, because if the Book of Abraham really is just an Egyptian Book of the Dead, then remember that Joseph Smith identified Osiris as Abraham, the main character of the Book of Abraham, which is really the Book of the Dead.
With such a prominent figure, you might well assume that we know quite a bit about the mythology and cultic practices surrounding Osiris. But yet again, we find it's much more complicated than that. Myths about the gods were hardly ever gathered into canonical narrative passages, so what we are left with are loads of disconnected shreds of evidence that must be reconstructed by scholars. What this might suggest is that the ancient Egyptians were more interested in using the gods pragmatically than spending countless hours hammering out a cogent mythology surrounding them. It is also true that most, if not all, myths in ancient Egypt had several versions. The Egyptians seemed much more comfortable adding myths to an existing body of literature rather than editing it. When it comes to Osiris, we are lucky in many respects because of the sheer volume of information we have about him. But even still, his mythology varies and needs to be reconstructed by scholars.
Which brings us back to the common misunderstanding that Joseph Smith was somehow debunked by some definitive scholarly translation, which does not exist.
Because he still didn't think that there was anyone who could definitively translate a...
According to our best estimates, the basic framework of the myth of Osiris, especially during the time of the writing of the Book of the Dead, goes something like this. Osiris was born to his father Geb and his mother Nut. Born alongside Osiris was his brother Seth and sisters Isis and Nephthys. Osiris went on to marry his sister Isis.
Remember, if Osiris is Abraham, Abraham says that he marries his own sister.
And he eventually became the king of Egypt.
So Abraham marrying his sister causes this huge political scandal, and it turns out Abraham outranks Pharaoh anyway.
Osiris's status as king didn't sit well with his furiously jealous brother Seth. So Seth decided to take matters into his own hands by murdering Osiris. This, however, was no ordinary murder. Seth had such vitriol for Osiris that once Osiris was dead, he completely dismembered him and flung his remains into the Nile River.
Abraham receives a promise his seed will spread all over the earth and everybody on earth will eventually be related to him.